What's up and welcome back to the Nordic Watch channel. I'm Anders from Finland and today a bit of an update to the state of the collection. It's not been that many months since I made the last state of the collection video, but I think there's been a lot of changes in a short period of time, so I thought I'd give you guys an update on where my collection is at, and also I thought it was a good time to do a sort of an inventory and a reality check of how many watches I actually have. And I have to say I had maybe understated the amount of watches by probably 5 or something in my collection. Since it's not a long time ago since I made my last state of the collection video, I'm not going to go through all my watches here. I'm just going to go through the watches that were not featured in the last state of the collection video, which you can check out up here in the card system. Going through the watches that are unfeatured in the state of the collection videos, and then after that maybe going through a little bit of which watches I enjoy the most and what kind of changes might be coming for my collection, and feel free to give me any ideas on videos on different watches you see on this video, and let me know if there's something you'd like to see on the channel. But first, let's get rid of the watches that have already been featured and leave only the ones that have not. Okay, here are all the watches that got cut. If you haven't checked out my previous state of the collection videos, go ahead and check them out. I'll put links in the description below. Just quickly, I have an SKX 009, SARP 033, vintage Leijona, vintage Tissot, Sea Urchin aka SNZF17, Citizen ProMaster Nighthawk. Is it a ProMaster? Well, it's a Nighthawk anyway. Casio F91W, Casio, what's it called? Let's put text below. Then I have my vintage Creedor, and then Casio, the black version of the Casio Royale. So if you're interested in seeing these watches featured, go and check out my previous state of the collection videos from the description below. But now let's get to the new watches. Well then, what are we left with? We have a total of 9 watches. Well, actually we have 8 watches because I'm not sure if this one has been featured in a state of the collection video. It's a watch I gifted to my girlfriend, and I featured this watch in multiple videos on my channel. It's the Seiko 5 SNK425. So if you're interested in that watch, check it out either from a card, or then I'll put the link in the description below. But yeah, so 8 watches is what we're left with here. So let's go through these in no particular order. Alright, here we have the Orient Defender 2, a field watch by Orient, which I made a full review about on the channel. This was actually the first and yet only watch ever gifted to me for the channel and for review, and it has since then remained in my collection for the time being, at least. It's a really cool watch with a little bit of a different dial. 100 meters water resistance, hacking, hand winding, in-house movement, and a really cool overall aesthetic on the dial. It's a little bit on the larger side for a wrist like mine, but as I showed you on the full review video, it's just about on the limit what my wrist can bear, and on different kinds of straps it wears a little bit smaller than on the bracelet. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing or getting to know more about this watch, I suggest you go check out the full review I made on this channel. I showed you on that video also that this thing looks great on a Hirsch Liberty thick leather strap, and I think it gives off some serious pilot watch vibes, it being such a substantial watch and having such a thick leather strap on it. That's a really nice combo, and I'm thinking about putting this one on that strap again. All right, moving on to a bit of a different watch, and first, let's say first mid-tier or expensive for a student watch that I've had ever since I've sold my Oris Aquis, and that is the Sinn 556A, A being for the 12, 3, 6 and 9 indices on the dial. Fantastic little watch with a great size for a wrist like mine, 6.5-inch wrist. I got this watch as a gift for myself for graduating as a commercial pilot, and I don't think I will be selling this watch ever. Hopefully, we'll see. But the purpose of this watch is to serve as a memory and symbol for my graduation as a pilot, hence it being a pilot watch, which I just think is a great everyday piece. And have to say, it has been taking a lot of wrist time away from my Sharp 033 because this is just such a great everyday watch. I mean, you can wear this with anything, you can put it on different kinds of straps, and this thing just looks great. Bought this one secondhand, as I usually do with watches, but and this one actually has the ETA movement instead of the Sellita, which the newer variants have. Not sure if there's any difference between those two, but I'm planning on doing a review of this watch later on. But I have to say, there are a few things that disappoint me with this watch that I did not see coming. And one of those things is that this watch apparently has AR coating on the top of the crystal. And even though it's a sapphire crystal, it now appears to be scratched because of the AR coating being scratched, and that's just really annoying because I think it defeats the purpose of having a sapphire crystal if you put something like AR coating that can be scratched on top of it. I don't understand why you would do that, and yeah, that annoys me. That being said, this crystal does seem to disappear in most lightings. It looks like you're just looking at a dial with no crystal on at really many different angles. Another thing I noticed with this watch is that the clasp is actually kind of a disappointment. Not anything else, but it's just not that kind of firm in action when you're putting it on. It's kind of it's hard to describe, but it doesn't click on as easily as I expected it to do, but that's a really minor thing. Next up, a watch that I bought not so much for myself, but for the sake of seeing what kind of quality Invicta has to offer and letting you guys know what I think about the watch. So I pretty much bought this thing in for review, and I am planning on selling it, but first I'm going to see if I can come up with more things to say about it and more content to create about the Invicta. Let me know if you have any ideas and let me know in the comments below. But anyway, I made a full review of this watch as well, and you can find a link to that in the description or just go find it on my channel. But all in all, the verdict for this watch was it's a pretty good value for money watch for the price. However, now having used it a little bit more, I just don't get that kind of a sympathetic feeling when I wear this watch as I do with some other Seiko watches of the same price category. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't excite me that much. One thing I didn't say on the review, which I did say on another video where this featured avis T801A review, one thing that kind of started bugging me with this watch is that everything's so shiny on the dial, like the hands, the Invicta logo, everything just when it hits the light, it's really blingy, and I don't know, it gives it kind of a cheap look in my opinion. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I don't really like to wear it that much. But yeah, this will probably be leaving my collection, as many other watches probably too. But if you're interested in seeing a video review about this watch, go check it out. Here's another watch that has an interesting story. I got gifted this by my friend, and as you can see, he's pretty hard on his watches, and he gave this one to me after he bought another Seiko 5 for himself and considered this one to be broken, which it apparently is, because the movement sometimes stops when you move this watch around. So this is the Seiko SNX425, pretty popular Seiko 5 model. You can get it for around 100 to 120 euros or bucks maybe nowadays. Not sure if they've gone up in price. I was always intrigued by this watch, and I've been contemplating buying it for many times, but always coming back to the fact that I think it's a little bit too large for me. But I have been considering getting one in for review. But yeah, my friend, who is a pretty reckless guy, you could say, gave it to me because he knows I'm into watches, and now I'm just trying to figure out, should I use this for a mod project or something in that manner. I don't know what you guys think about making a review video of a watch that's pretty much broken. Is there any purpose to that? Or some comparison videos with the Orient Defender or something. But anyways, it's a nice watch. It's too bad it's a bit broken, but I'm sure I can come up with some modding projects or use the parts from this watch to mod some other watch. But it's a good looking watch, no doubt. It's a shame it's a banged up, but changing the movement, the crystal, and giving that bezel a bit of a brushing or something with some Dremel or other machine could maybe bring this watch to life. But yeah, that's the story behind this watch. Alright, another Seiko 5. This is the SRPE53, which I've also made a full review video about, and also showcasing this watch on many different straps on that review video, and also on a separate YouTube Shorts video. So check that out if you want to see how this watch looks on different straps. Hope those videos are useful for you guys. But yeah, this watch is one of the more popular Seiko releases in the previous years. The Dress KX model or line. I think this blue dial is just it's a really good looking watch with great dimensions, and it has that classic kind of a Seiko diver look on the dial, but it's a little bit slimmed down in size, and it's a bit more elegant. Still maintaining 100 meters of water resistance, so it's a good everyday watch to wear. I don't really have anything bad to say about this watch, and I do use it occasionally, but right now the Sinn 556 and the SARB 033 are mostly my everyday watches, so this one doesn't get that much wrist time. But nonetheless, it's a great watch, and I really enjoy wearing it when I do get it out of the watch box. If you're interested in getting to know more about this watch, go check out the full review. I'll put a link in the description below. Next up is a pretty interesting watch, Seiko 5, which I could bet some money on that you probably never have seen or heard of before. I hadn't before I saw it on a Facebook group. Happened much like when I found this Creedor. I had never heard of the model, but found it interesting. So I just decided to buy it and see if I like it. This resembles the Seiko SNK425 and such models. It has a bead blasted case, but as you can see, it has no Seiko 5 badge, and this is the reference Seiko SNX425, I believe. This has a green dial, and yeah, no Seiko 5 badge, but it does have an etched Seiko 5 logo on the crystal. Really cool military look. I got really surprised. I didn't look it up before I bought it, and it didn't say in the description. Turns out when I got this watch, it's like really small. I think the case diameter is like 34 millimeters or something. It's ridiculously small, but I have to say, after trying it out on the wrist, it doesn't look half bad on a 6.5-inch wrist, but at least on camera, and it doesn't look bad live either, but I have to say it does feel pretty small. But that being said, it's a really nice and clean military look. I enjoy that dial. I hope it would be black. To my understanding, these are pretty rare to come by. People modding Seiko 5s and Seikos, to my understanding, are often looking for this piece because it has such a clean military look dial, and it doesn't have the Seiko 5 badge, which almost every other Seiko 5 has. So that's why this watch is pretty interesting, maybe for a modding project. We'll see if I get around to modding Seikos at some point. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting watch, and I don't have any regrets about buying it. I don't use it that often, but sometimes I remember that I have this watch and I take it out of the watch box and wear it for a couple of days straight. It's a really nice watch, but it could be a little bit larger. Okay, second to last watch that I have here for you today. This is my first ever AliExpress watch. We'll see if it's the last one ever too. Probably not. I'll probably find something interesting to buy in for review for you guys. But yeah, this is the avis T801A, at least allegedly. I'm not yet sure if this watch is actually fake or not, because it has a false claim on the dial, claiming it to be a superlative chronometer, even though that's obviously not true. But yeah, $20 watch from AliExpress. It's automatic, stainless steel, has a working 60-click bezel, pretty nice lume actually, a date wheel, stuff like that. So it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible what you can get for 20 bucks. I made a full review about this watch. If you're interested, link in the description below. Let's show it on the wrist. Obviously a Rolex Submariner homage, like the Invicta Pro Diver. This is a little bit larger though, and but have to say, not a half bad looking watch, with a nice gray black sunburst dial. Great way to get to know mechanical watches and see if you're into that. So not like that large of a decision to order one. If you're unsure if you want your first mechanical watch, then sure, why not try it out with a $20 watch from AliExpress. Anyways, this watch is probably leaving my collection sometime soon also. We'll see if I come up with any other content with this watch before that, or I'll give it to my friend who gave me the Seiko 5 that's broken. Kind of a trade. Last up, a watch that needs no introduction. It's the Casio Royale, aka the Casio AE1200WH. I actually had some surplus on a gift card to a jeweler, so I figured, and it was going to expire, so I had to use it for something. So I got this one because I thought I should probably make a video. I already have the black variant of this one, so it's the same watch, but comes on a bracelet, and the case looks like it's metal, even though it's not. But yeah, tons of functionality for a couple of tens of euros or dollars, like 20 to 40 euros or dollars pretty much. If you're going retail price, then it's, I think, 60. Well, let's see. Yeah, it's 60 retail, and this was on a discount, so paid like 35 or something. It's a great watch for the price. You get 100 meters water resistance, tons of functionality with different time zones, timer, stopwatch, alarm, and the likes. So it's a good watch for the money. Tons of excess on the bracelet. I haven't even sized it yet. But anyways, this is a pretty good fit for a 6.5-inch wrist. Looks nice. And if you want, you can put a wider NATO strap on it like this one. There's also a video where I show you how to do that. It has an 18mm lug width, but I put this on a 22mm NATO strap. So check out the link in the description below if you're interested. Anyways, those were the new watches I've gotten since the last state of the collection. Now let's just show you what watches I wear the most. Bit of a reshuffle later, and these are pretty much the watches I wear the most in my everyday life. And if we're going to narrow it down even more, we can remove, let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. This is actually pretty much the watches I wear the most. So there's my Sinn, classic SKX Pepsi, the Creedor when it's a bit more dressy, Sarbo 33 a bit more like a bit more dressy than the Sinn 556, but still kind of casual. Then my everyday quartz watch, like grab and go watch, that when I'm in a hurry and I'm going to do some handy work or something like that, then I just grab the Nighthawk and go. Oftentimes I wear this on a black leather strap, which I featured on my videos. Just happens to be on the bracelet right now, but I wear this watch pretty often too, every now and then. But now, since I've got the Sinn, I don't wear it as often. And yeah, this is the watch I wear to the gym every time I go. So just a really great everyday beater watch, this Casio. It has this really sleek look to it, and I enjoy this watch, and it's really functional. Always use it to time my workouts, so it will let me know when it's time to go home. That's pretty much all I had for you in this video. If you have any comments, leave them down below. Let me know what kind of content you'd like to see from me. And give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, go follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.